even before, I mean, right walking through the tunnel, I mean, the last 2 games, both teams, and talking trash in the tunnel, saying they got us, game over, things like that. So, I mean, we're getting in the locker room, I mean, that just amps us up. So, coming out strong and getting stops, and I don't think they got offensive rebound in the second half, so boxing out, getting rebounds, and out rebounding them like we did, that really helped us.
Michigan was talking trash, you said?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
What were they saying?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, they just, you know, you can hear it, so it just put fuel to the fire.
Jon, defensively, the second half is probably the best you guys have played all year. Just what did you guys do differently?
We just came out with a little more energy. Guys were locked in. I think we did a really great job. We knew the scouting report. We just, you know, really put our minds to it, and we got a lot of big stops. And rebounding really helped us. You know, they didn't give me a second opportunity to score the basketball in the first half. They did, so I think that was the difference.
Vince, you were a real offensive spark there to start the second half, going down under the basket. Just what was kind of the approach there? Was that a plan that you guys wanted to attack coming out of halftime, or just how it worked out?
I mean, our plan is always to attack the offensive glass, and I just took it upon myself to go even harder. This is a great team. We all love each other like brothers, and we'll do anything for each other and fight for each other. So it's just having that intensity and just having that will to fight. And I just want to help this team win. So that was crashing the glass, and hey, let's get it done so we can get this win.
Vince and Ray, just, you know, Levert and Irving, you had to stop both of those guys. You're matched up on them a little bit too. Can you talk specifically about why they weren't able to get going?
I mean, I locked in on guard Karis LeVert. I mean, I was hyped for this matchup. I mean, all-conference player. Many people think he'd be an NBA player, so going out there and playing defense like we did. And Kendall was a big part of guarding at Zach Irvin also. So we watched the film last night, getting extra film in, learning tendencies, and I mean, you get them 2 guys that go, what, 4 for 20, I mean, that's huge. I mean, that's a lot of their offense. So just playing hard and listening to Coach Owen's scouting report really helped us a lot.
Yeah, just to add on what Ray said, we all did a good job of locking in, and I knew coming into this game, you know, Zach Irvin's from around here, so he was going to come in and try to get the upset. So I just really locked in, and all of the team, as a team effort, we did a good job of focusing in, switching, talking, and just getting stops and grinding it out.
Jon, what were you guys able to do collectively to kind of throw them out of rhythm in the second half? I know obviously you guys did a pretty good job defensively. They also missed a lot of shots in the second half. They missed in the first half. Was there anything you guys were doing from a defensive perspective to kind of throw them out of sync?
In the first half, there were times when we were over-helping. There was one instance where the ball was trapped, and I went to go help the three-point shooter, and they skipped it to Walton Jr. He knocked down 3, and they were kind of getting us like that in the first half. We were just over-helping and not really staying into the basketball on those ball screens. And once we finally got locked in, we stayed into the ball. Our bigs did a really good job stopping the ball and allowing us to get back. And once we got back, they got back with their hands up, and it just kind of, you know, threw them off. So I mean, that was a really good job on our part.
Vince, at one point in your recruiting process, I know you had some interest in Michigan. Michigan had some interest in you. Was this game any more significant to you because of that, or is it just another Big Ten game?
Most definitely, it was a grudge. There's definitely a grudge there coming down to these 2 schools, and I want to make it, so I made the right choice. So I just want to help this team get this win, and it was one of those games that was above the others for me.
Ray, what did you see specifically in that extra film work that you felt helped you today?
I knew. I don't want to say I knew all the Karis LeVert's moves, but I knew most of his tendencies. I mean, what he does when he drives right and he tries to get to his right and his jump stops, and he'll be able to shoot the ball really well off of a jump stop going right, things like that. Or when you up and under, you just got to stay on your feet and get big on him. And I mean, just really what dribble moves he likes to go into when he shoots the pull up, when he likes to spot, catch and shoot and spot up, things like that off pick and roll action. So just watching little things like that with Kenny Lowe and just being a student of the game really helped us today.
Ray, what have you seen from AJ the last 2 games? Seems like he's kind of trending upward for you. Do you see him being a little bit more comfortable, or do you see anything different in him?
Yeah, talking about AJ is always kind of funny because I've known him so long, but it's just like a little kid in the candy store these last couple of days. He's like really enjoying himself, really playing hard, talking to us. I mean, he's enjoying himself, and that's the biggest thing for us. When he's having fun and he's enjoying himself, the sky's the limit for us.
Last one over there. second half, you had the first stretch, I think it was 12 minutes, where they had one field goal. Did you notice that they were kind of deflated at that point? Maybe shoulders shirking or body language a little bit different during that one stretch?
I think I don't even think, did you notice that? I don't think we didn't really pay attention to the score. We kept saying 0-0 every time we got a bucket and every time we got a stop. So, I mean, we were just making sure that we kept ourselves locked in at that point in time. And I didn't even really notice how big the gap was until later on in the game. Because, I mean, you know, with a team like that, it's, you know, a couple possessions, you know, they could be right back in and they have great shooters. So we were just locked in at that point.
Thank you, guys.
They might have made in the first half that they didn't make in the second half, but otherwise, what did Purdue do well from a defensive standpoint in the second half?
Well, I think, first of all, we didn't allow any offensive rebounds. I mean, they scored a couple times. Another three that Zach Irvin hit right in front of our bench, just off, you know, our guy not boxing out. And then they got us on a free throw block out. I don't know what basket it was, but it was, they definitely scored. I thought we had some breakdowns defensively in the second half, and each time they really capitalized. And I thought we had fewer breakdowns, even though they had looks. Sometimes when you have a game like that, you know, and you play good defense, there's still possessions they break you down. And when they did, they didn't make us pay. Either they missed it, you know, something good didn't happen at that time, and that happens sometimes when things are going, you know, against you.
Matt, after having some games where maybe you guys didn't fight back as well as you'd like, this is 2 in a row where you have, you're seeing something different just from an intensity standpoint, a focus standpoint in the second half of these games?
Well, I thought, you know, once again, we didn't finish. You know, I thought our big guys did a poor job of finishing in the first half. They dropped the basketball, they turned the basketball over. We had a couple other layups that we just simply missed. I thought our concentration level, you know, in post play and in layups in general was poor. And we have to do a better job of that. I thought in the second half we had, you know, better energy, but we created some opportunities with our effort on the glass. But we also finished better. You know, we have to do a better job of scoring around the basket, and we did that in the second half.
Matt, you tightened up the rotation. I think 5 guys played 30-plus minutes.
Right.
Did you just like that group that was together? Or?
Yeah, I thought they really did a good job. You know, we're not playing as well when we sub, and we've tried to balance some minutes out, and you know, we haven't been as productive. And I thought Octeus was really good defensively, and I thought Davis was really good defensively, and then I thought, you know, Vince Edwards, especially in the second half, really, you know, gave us some good minutes and did some good things. He had 16 and 6 for the game. Then obviously Hammond's coming off the bench, you know, had a good game, even though he can play better and he can finish better. So we really just stuck with those guys because they had a little bit of success. You know, Spike Albrecht broke us down, you know, shot a couple threes right on top of us and got going. And, you know, we just felt like we had to stay with him and stay with Zach Irvin and Karis LeVert and just give him that attention.
With Vince, we talk a lot about his ability to pass, shoot, you know, handle the ball and whatnot, but can you just kind of speak to the weapon he can be around the basket, you know, as somebody you can look to in the post, but also somebody you can rely on to be pretty effective on the offensive boards?
And it's something we probably haven't done enough of. He scored a lot of points early this season, just playing through motion and just playing the game, you know, with having two big posts in there. He just kind of found his spots, and we haven't done a good enough job of getting him into some spots to score, and I thought we did a little bit more of that today. But his effort on the glass a couple times was huge for us. But he's very versatile. You know, he can dribble, pass, and shoot. He understands the game. He can play on the perimeter. You know, he can play inside, and he can guard a lot of different people.
Isaac, he got a little physical in there, especially in the first half.
Yeah.
He kind of got a few fouls. What does he have to? Is this just a learning experience to get used to that type of play?
Well, I think he's, you know, he's committing some of the same mistakes that he's made. He's got to learn from some of those past mistakes and improve on that. In the previous games, when we went back and watched film, his offensive fouls have been fouls. And so we'll see when he goes back and try to learn from those. But, you know, he played 9 minutes, he had 4 fouls, he had 4 turnovers, and he was 0 for 2 from the line. You know, he just never got on track. But, you know, it's something about, you know, being a basketball player, sometimes you have to be solid. You know, you might not do anything positive, but don't do anything negative. You know, guard your man, be solid, and he's getting in the game sometimes, and he's just making positive play after positive play. Then there's games like this where it's the reverse. He has to learn to be solid, because those offensive fouls are turnovers. And, you know, but we'll watch film and, you know, we'll learn from it and hopefully get better.
How come Bryson didn't play today?
Well, I thought those other guys, you know, did a good job. I like those matchups, you know, defensively. I thought Jon Octeus was great. I thought his effort was great. You know, he gives you 13 points, 8 rebounds, and doesn't turn the basketball over. And we know we just stuck with those other guys.
Last one, Stacey.
Ray had mentioned that he really got up for this matchup, and I know you switched screens a lot too, but with LeVert, he was on him quite a bit. What did you think? Did you like his energy at least? I mean, I think he got a 5-second.
Yeah, I think he did a good job guarding him. You know, Karis LeVert is a dangerous player, and he's one of those guys you can get discouraged because he makes tough shots. You can do everything you're supposed to, and he still scores, when most guys aren't that way. If you do everything you're supposed to defensively, you're going to create a miss, and he's not that way. You know, Karis is a kid that spent a lot of time in the gym and worked on his game, and, you know, you just have to make it difficult for him. You know, today was our day, and especially in the second half, and they never quite got into that rhythm. But they're one of those teams in their system where they just need a couple makes to get going. And they were that way in the Illinois game. They just never got, you know, into their rhythm. And then once they started hitting a couple threes, Dawkins hit a couple, Zach hit a couple, and Karis got going, you know, and then they were dynamite. You know, they just had 6, 7, 8 possessions in a row, you know, where they were very, very efficient and very good. And so that's the scare when you play Michigan. And that was, you know, our worry with them, especially in that second half when we started to get that lead, that they'd hit a couple threes and they really build off of that. But no, they're very, very, you know, talented guys, and their experience of, you know, being in an Elite Eight, being in a championship game scares you, because they've been at that high level and been able to make plays. So when they get down or something happens, and that's what they've done. You know, the last 3 games, you could really argue that we've outplayed them the last 3 games in Mackey, and they've won those games. But it's a 40-minute game, and to their credit, you know, their players made plays at the end of the game, and ours didn't. And you know, and they got the win. So hopefully, you know, we can learn from some of those things and get better.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Matt.
Thanks, Matt.